Under Trump, this type of government will disappear in July 2023. Robert Dow's life fell apart when his teenage grandson died from drugs. And then his partner's face became paralyzed after giving birth just a few months later. Later, a messy court battle revealed shocking secrets about his behavior for the first time in his 60-year career. The very private star could no longer escape the scandals surrounding him. Robert De Niro was born on August 17, 1943, in a hospital in Manhattan. His father, who had Irish and Italian roots, was an abstract artist. An artist whose work would later be shown in major museums had a mother with Dutch, English, French, and German roots. She was also a painter and a poet. They met in 1941 at an art school and fell in love. Even during their honeymoon, they continued to paint. However, their lives changed when he was only 2 years old. His parents separated, which was not discussed openly at the time because his father had come to terms with being gay. This news shocked those around them and had a lasting impact on Dow's early life, despite his parents' separation. His father stayed close and was part of his life. As a child, he was pale and skinny, which earned him the nickname Bobby Milk. His life was already difficult, but it became more complicated because of his grandparents. Without his parents knowing, they had him secretly baptized in a Catholic church on September 14, 1945. While his parents didn't follow any religion, his grandparents did and wanted him to be a part of it. This created some tension. His parents valued art and self-expression, while his grandparents focused on tradition and faith. He grew up in Greenwich Village and Little Italy, mostly raised by his mother. His father was present, but his mother worked to support the family, taking jobs as a printer and typesetter and putting in long hours. As a result, Robert De Niro spent a lot of time alone and found comfort in movies. His father would take him to the theater, and he quickly became obsessed with films, especially one actress, Greta Garbo, who fascinated him. Although he didn't fully understand why, her performances left a lasting impression on him. Then, unexpectedly, his mother got a job typing scripts for a theater workshop, and as part of her payment, Robert De Niro was allowed to take acting classes for free. He was just 10 years old, and this was his first real taste of acting. Soon after, he got on stage for the first time playing the Cowardly Lion He participated in a school play of The Wizard of Oz on April 15, 1954. As he grew older, school became less important to him. By the age of 16, he made a big choice to drop out and pursue acting. He had briefly attended the High School of Music and Art, but he only lasted 3 days because the competition and pressure were overwhelming. So he left his family. He wasn't happy, but he didn't mind. Instead of going to school, he spent his time on the streets, observing how people talked and moved. He even joined a small Italian gang, but he was never deeply involved in crime. This experience showed him a different side of life. His old nickname, Bobby Milk, stuck with him. Then at 17, everything changed. On September 5th, 1960, he joined the Stella Adler Conservatory, a well-known acting school. This is where he really began to learn acting and focused on method acting, a technique that would shape his career. He kept trying. Robert De Niro started taking night classes to finish high school, but he soon realized that acting was his real passion and he dropped out. His first movie was The Wedding Party, directed by Brian De Palma. He was only 20 years old when he filmed it in 1963, but it didn't release until 1969 due to legal issues. This long wait made his debut seem more intriguing than it actually was. The movie was small, shot in black and white, and not very popular, but it was an important first step in his acting career. In 1973, Robert De Niro's career took a turn with the movie Bang the Drum Slowly. While it was about baseball, the real focus was on friendship and loss. De Niro played Bruce Pearson, a not-so-smart catcher who was dying of Hodgkin's disease. He took the role seriously and spent months learning to play baseball, even training with the St. Louis Cardinals. He wanted his movements to seem natural. Critics noticed this and said his acting felt genuine, not just an act, and they praised him for the deep emotions he brought to the character. Getting the role was tough for him. He had to audition 7 times before he was finally selected. When the movie was released on July 26, 1973, it was a hit, earning $5 million, which was a lot for a small film. More importantly, it brought attention to Robert De Niro and showed Hollywood his talent. That same year, De Niro met a director named Martin Scorsese who would greatly influence his career. Their first movie together was Mean Streets, which came out a few months after Bang the Drum Slowly. De Niro initially wanted the main role in that film, but didn't get it. He went to his friend Harvey instead of Robert De Niro, who played Johnny Boy, a reckless gambler always in trouble. This role was perfect for him, as he added wild energy, making Johnny Boy unpredictable and dangerous. People couldn't look away from him. The movie had a small budget of $500,000, and filming was challenging. They shot in real locations in New York's Little Italy, and Scorsese even had to pay local mobsters to stay out of the way. At one point, a building owner wouldn't allow them to film until Scorsese's father helped make a deal for the movie, which faced many challenges. The film turned out authentic and lively, and critics loved it. Robert De Niro won an award for Best Supporting Actor, making his name well known in Hollywood. In 1974, he became a star by playing young Vito Corleone in The Godfather Part 2. The first movie was a big success, so expectations were high for the sequel. De Niro took the role seriously and spent 4 months preparing. He worked hard to speak in a Sicilian accent so he would sound genuine. His effort paid off when the movie became a huge success, and Robert De Niro won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor at just 31 years old. True to his character, he didn't attend the ceremony because he was filming another movie in Italy. For him, work was always the priority. His win was significant not only for him, but also for The Godfather Part 2, which won 6 Oscars that night. He beat 2 of his fellow actors, Michael Vigazzo and Lee Strasberg, for the award. Winning the Oscar showed that he wasn't just a new actor, but one of the best, and this was just the start. Robert De Niro's performance in Taxi Driver was amazing, and his preparation was surprising. To understand the life of a New York cab driver, he got a real taxi license and drove around the city for 3 months, working 12-hour shifts. Even after winning an Oscar for The Godfather Part 2, very few people recognized him, which was what he wanted. He needed to feel invisible, just like his character Travis. He didn't just learn about the role, he fully immersed himself in it. You experienced it. Then came the iconic scene in the movie where Robert De Niro asks, "You talking to me?" This line wasn't in the script. He created it while looking in the mirror and acting like a man losing his mind. This wasn't the only thing he did to become the character Travis. He lost 35 pounds and spent time with Vietnam War veterans with PTSD to understand their struggles. He even wore Travis's boots for 2 months and walked 15 miles a day so they felt like a second skin by the time filming began. He didn't just look like Travis, he became him. But Robert De Niro still wanted to push himself further. When Robert De Niro played boxer Jake LaMotta in Raging Bull, he took it very seriously. He trained with LaMotta for months and even sparred with him. LaMotta said that De Niro could have been a professional boxer. Then, to show LaMotta as an older, heavier man, De Niro decided not to wear a fat suit. Instead, he gained 60 pounds for the role. For 4 months, he toured through Italy and France, eating lots of food like pasta, bread, and ice cream. He wanted to change his body and went from 145 pounds to 215 pounds. The weight gain was so rapid that it made it difficult for him to breathe. The production team hurried to complete filming his more intense scenes because they were worried about his health. Afterward, doctors told him not to do that again. It took him over a year to recover, but his hard work was rewarded when he won an Oscar for Best Actor. His desire to make his roles authentic continued with The King of Comedy, where he portrayed a man obsessed with fame. To understand a stalker's mind, he met one in real life. But he didn't stop there. He also secretly followed Jerry Lewis, the actor who played the talk show host in the film. In the movie, we see how Lewis acted around fans, how he moved, and how he behaved when he thought no one was watching. LS felt uneasy, but it worked for the film. Robert De Niro's acting was unsettlingly believable. Then he starred in Goodfellas, where every detail was important. He played the gangster Jimmy Conway, who was obsessed with money and power. To make his role more authentic, De Niro wore silk underwear the whole time and insisted on using real money during filming. He even brought $5,000 of his own cash to the set, especially for a phone scene. In a fit of anger, he smashed a phone, and when a piece of glass cut his hand, he didn't stop. Instead, he smeared his blood on Ray Liotta's face. This wasn't part of the plan, but Robert De Niro preferred to keep going if it felt real, which made his performances unforgettable. De Niro's first marriage happened quickly. He met Diane Abbott while filming Taxi Driver in 1976, and just 3 months later, on April 28th, they got married. Their son Raphael was named after the time of year he was conceived. The Hotel Raphael in Rome. At the time, Robert De Niro was deep into method acting and stayed in character as Travis Blee even after filming finished, which put stress on their new marriage. But despite this, they welcomed Raphael on November 9th, 1976. Robert De Niro also. Abbott adopted her daughter Dana, who was born in 1971, showing how much she valued family. She was married to Robert De Niro for 12 years, during which De Niro became famous for movies like The Deer Hunter in 1978 and Raging Bull in 1982. Abbott even had a role in one of his films, The King of Comedy, in 1982, where she played a bartender. The marriage ended in 1988, and Robert De Niro paid Abbott $6 to settle the divorce quietly. $2 million, which was a huge amount at the time. After the divorce, Robert De Niro started dating model and actress Toukie Smith in 1988. Their relationship lasted until 1996 and was unusual in many ways. In 1995, they had twin sons, Julian Henry and Aaron Kendrick, through in vitro fertilization and surrogacy, which was rare for celebrities back then. Robert De Niro was 52 when the twins were born, which challenged the usual ideas about. At the same time he became a father, there were rumors about him dating supermodel Naomi Campbell, which added to his complicated personal life. He was very private and didn't want to discuss their relationship, even jokingly spelling out private to emphasize his point. When they separated in 1996, they made a co-parenting plan to share the care of their twins, taking turns every 4 days to show their commitment to raising them together. In 1997, Robert De Niro married Grace Hightower, but their relationship also had many highs and lows. They first met in 1987 at Mr. Chow is an upscale restaurant in London where Hightower worked as a hostess. After dating for 10 years, they got married on June 17, 1997, but their marriage faced problems soon after. Just 2 years later, in 1999, Robert De Niro filed for divorce. The split was never official, and unexpectedly, they renewed their vows in 2004 in a big ceremony in the Catskill Mountains with famous guests. They have two children, Elio, born on March 18, 1998, and Helen Grace, who was born through a surrogate on December 23. They were married for 21 years, starting in 2011, but their relationship wasn't easy. There were claims that Hightower managed Dow's money and film projects, leading to conflicts. They finally separated in 2018. The split between Dow and his spouse turned messy. Dow's lawyer said that he had to keep working to cover his ex's expensive way of living. In court, it was revealed that she was spending $215,000 a month on credit cards and another $160,000 in cash, which surprised many. Meanwhile, Den Hero is becoming a father again. At 68 was unexpected. On December 23, 2011, he and Hightower welcomed their daughter, Helen Grace, through surrogacy. This made him one of the oldest famous fathers in Hollywood. Some admired him for embracing fatherhood at that age, while others criticized it coincidentally. His close friend Al Pacino also became a dad around the same time, welcoming twins at 70. Robert De Niro took being a father seriously and even took a 6-month break from acting to spend time with his daughter, which caused him to miss out on major film parts, including one in The Judge. In 2014, Robert De Niro's experience as an older father influenced the types of movies he chose. He began taking roles in more family-friendly films like The Family, 2013, and The Intern, 2015. When asked about being a father later in life, he simply said, "I love my children. Just being with them, when you have good moments, you forget about the ones that weren't good." His career took an unexpected turn in 2012 when he starred in Silver Linings Playbook at age 69, after not having an Oscar nomination for 21 years. This role changed that. Pat Solitano Sr., played by Robert De Niro, is a father who is obsessed with the Philadelphia Eagles and struggles with obsessive-compulsive tendencies. The movie was a big hit, earning over $236 million worldwide from a small budget of just $21 million. One memorable moment was when De Niro spontaneously cried during an emotional speech to Bradley Cooper's character. This moment wasn't in the script, making his performance even more impactful. Although he didn't win the Oscar, he received a nomination, which was still an important achievement for his character's story. The movie was the first in 31 years to be nominated for all 4 performance awards. Most importantly, it showed everyone that Robert De Niro is still one of the best actors in the world. A new group of movie fans got to see him in a new way. Then, in 2019, he came together again with Martin Scorsese for The Irishman. He was 76, and people were calling this his best performance in 20 years. The movie had a massive budget of $200 million and used advanced dating technology so he could play his character, Frank Sheeran, at different ages. The part wasn't about big. The film featured powerful moments focused on small details, like how the main character looked and moved and how his expression changed subtly while still showing deep emotions. Over the 3.5-hour movie, the audience followed Sheeran's life journey from a young truck driver to a lonely, regretful hitman. Some viewers criticized the special effects used to make him look younger, especially in a scene where he fought a grocer. But that didn't take away from his amazing performance. The film received 10 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture, and attracted over 26 million viewers because it was available on Netflix. Households in its first week, this movie showed that Robert De Niro wasn't just a legend from the past, he was still at the top of his game, willing to take risks, try new technology, and push himself in new ways in 2023. He worked with Scorza again on Killers of the Flower Moon. This was a huge moment, not just because of the movie, but because it was the first time Robert De Niro and Leonardo DiCaprio were acting together in a score film. At 79 years old, Robert De Niro played William Hale, a powerful rancher involved in the Osage Nation murders of the 1920s. The film was one of Scorsese's biggest projects, with a Robert De Niro committed fully to his role in a film with a budget over $200 million. He gained weight, spent a lot of time in makeup, and portrayed different ages. When the film debuted at the Cannes Film Festival, the audience gave it a 9-minute standing ovation. Critics praised De Niro's chilling performance, calling it one of his most menacing roles in years. The film explored a dark, hidden part of American history, and De Niro's acting made it even more impactful. After 70 years in Hollywood, he remains one of the greatest actors. He started acting in the 1960s and has kept going strong ever since. Whenever people think he might slow down, he finds a way to stay fresh and interesting. He shifts between serious films and comedies, appealing to each new generation. In the 2019 film Joker, he played a talk show host, and the movie made over $1 billion worldwide. He's more than just an actor. He co-founded the Tribeca Film Festival in 2002, making it one of the largest film festivals in the world. His production company, Tribeca Productions, continues to create great films and TV shows. Younger actors admire him, not just for his talent, but because of his work ethic. Even in his late 70s, he worked nonstop. In 2023 alone, at 79 years old, he played in 3 major films: Killers of the Flower Moon, about my father, and Megalopolis, directed by many actors slow down as they get older, but Robert De Niro continues to show that talent, hard work, and passion can keep someone relevant. While Hollywood keeps changing, De Niro remains a legend. However, his life took a tragic turn on July 2, 2023, when his 19-year-old grandson, Leandro, was found dead in his Manhattan apartment from a drug overdose. The medical report later showed that Leandro had a dangerous combination of fentanyl, cocaine, ketamine, and other drugs in his system. He was following his grandfather's path as an actor and even had a role in the 2018 movie A Star is Born. However, Robert De Niro's life ended too soon. He was usually serious and kept to himself, but he was visibly upset when he told People magazine, "It's just a shock. I never thought it would happen." Things took a turn for the worse when just 2 weeks later, police arrested a 20-year-old woman named Sophia Haley Marks. She was accused of Leandro sold fake prescription pills that were supposed to be oxycodone and Xanax, but they were actually dangerous fakes laced with fentanyl. His death highlighted the opioid crisis in America. The Drug Enforcement Administration had already warned that almost half of the fake pills tested contained enough fentanyl to be lethal. Leandro's case showed how risky these drugs can be and sparked discussions about drug education, stricter prescription rules, and better support for people dealing with addiction. Robert De Niro faced a tough time after a sad loss. In November 2023, he ended up in court because his former helper, Graham Chase Robinson, sued him for $12 million. She claimed he treated her unfairly, harassed her, and verbally abused her while she worked for him. She worked for him for 11 years, starting as a personal assistant and rising to vice president at Canal Productions. She said that during that time she experienced unwanted touching, inappropriate comments, and unfair treatment. In court, a message was played where Robert De Niro was heard yelling. This situation is not just about Robinson's case against Robert De Niro. In 2019, De Niro and his company sued her for $6 million. They claimed she stole money, misused company funds, and watched 55 episodes of Friends while working. They also said she transferred 5 million airline miles, worth about $85,000, to her account. The trial went on for 8 days, and De Niro was a witness for 2 of those days. He denied mistreating Robinson, but did admit to some things. When asked about some of her claims, he admitted that he had told her his trainer earned more money because he had a family to support. When asked if he ever asked her for a favor, he smiled and said, "Okay, you got me." After 5 hours of the jury discussing the case, they decided that Robert De Niro was not guilty, but his company, Canal Productions, had to pay Robinson $1. The judges decided that the company discriminated against her because she is a woman and punished her after she reported it. They awarded her $2 million. Nero's reputation suffered, and people began discussing issues like workplace power, gender discrimination, and how personal and work lives often mix in Hollywood. Just when things seemed tough for them, Dow's partner, Tiffany Chen, encountered a serious health problem in July 2023. After having their daughter Gia, Tiffany discovered she had Bell's palsy. It began with a tingling sensation in her tongue, and then her face started to feel unusual. One day she looked in the mirror and noticed something was wrong. She noticed her face was drooping, and things got worse quickly. Within days, she could hardly eat, and food would just fall out of her mouth. She was slurring her words, so she rushed to the hospital. Doctors ran tests and found out she had Bell's palsy. Usually, Bell's palsy affects just one side of the face, but in Tiffany's case, both sides were paralyzed. She struggled to speak properly, smile at her newborn baby, or even give her daughter a kiss. It was heartbreaking for her. She admitted to feeling self-conscious and frustrated. Robert De Niro, who usually stayed quiet, was also affected by her situation. Robert De Niro was supportive and reassured a woman, saying she looked fine and joking that she just seemed a bit serious. Despite facing his own personal issues, he spoke out publicly. On September 24, 2024, at the New York premiere of the film Megalopolis by Francis Ford Coppola, he made headlines again. In front of a full audience, he took the microphone and joked about Donald Trump directing the film, saying it would lead to total craziness and that Trump couldn't handle it. De Niro said he can't keep things together and wants to ruin the country. This was just weeks before the 2024 election, when Trump was running for president again. Some audience members, like Spike Lee, supported him, while others felt it was wrong to mix politics with a film premiere. This wasn't the first time De Niro criticized Trump, and it wouldn't be the last. Earlier that year, on May 28th, he unexpectedly showed up outside a Manhattan courthouse where Trump's hush money trial was taking place, standing with 2 former police officers. Officers at the Capitol riot on January 6 told reporters that they think Trump is a clown and warned that he wouldn't leave office if he won the election. This moment quickly became popular online. Supporters in the crowd shouted at him, leading to a noisy argument. Trump's campaign called Robert De Niro a has-been and claimed Biden's team was seeking attention. Dow's comments also caused him to lose an award he was supposed to receive on June 2, 2024, just 5 days before the ceremony. The National Association of Broadcasters, NAB, decided to take away an honor because they thought recent comments he made about Trump were too controversial. They said they support free speech but believed his involvement would be distracting. Some people thought this was unfair and that he was being punished for expressing his views, while others agreed with the NAB, saying actors should avoid politics.